pleasant good evening and welcome to SAT TV News. I am Nisha Charles.
And I am Desmond Joseph.
And we are your presenters for the evening. Thank you for joining us. Among the major developments, Prime Minister urges Dominicans to take part in independence celebrations.
Cayman Islands ban use of cell phones while driving.
NATO troops among dead in Afghan blast.
And in sport, Saints defeat Malik Granites to be crowned champions in Maxshire Trading Cricket League.
Details of these and other stories after the break.
Support local, support SAT Telecommunications Limited, the people's choice. Join hands with us. Come and sign up for your digital TV connection today. We got the sharpest, cleanest, brightest digital TV connection. No antiquated analog service, only pure digital and many new packages coming soon. With latest in sports, movies, children programming and much more. So if you have your flat screen TV and you want to see quality TV, join now. Sign up today for your digital television. Support local, support SAT Telecommunications Limited, the people's choice.
Free at last, free at last, free at last. Yes, Dominica, we are here at last. Come in today and sign up for your SAT internet. No fixed line charges, no installation charge, no modem charge and no contract required. Just come in and sign up for the most economical internet broadband service. Choose one of 5 packages starting at $28.75. Together with your internet package, you will receive a telephone where you will be able to call SAT to SAT for free. No rental charges. Yes, SAT to SAT for free. What are you waiting for? Come in today. Sign up now for your high-speed broadband internet only with SAT. For more information, call 448-5095 or 448-5096. Remember, SAT Telecoms is the people's choice.
Thank you for staying with us. Now for the details of the news. Ray Flora, 38 years of Good Hope, has been arrested and charged with the murder of 35-year-old Eddie Lewis of Petit Soufriere. He was to appear in court on Monday, October 1st, 2012. Mr. Lewis died after he sustained a stab wound to his lower abdomen while in an altercation with Mr. Flora in Saint-Sauveur. The incident took place on Friday, September 28th at about 12:30 p.m. The body was transported to the Castle Bruce Health Center, where it was pronounced dead by the district medical practitioner upon arrival. A coroner's inquest will be convened to be followed by a post-mortem examination to determine the cause of death. In more news, this year marks the 63rd anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. A reception was held on Friday, September 28th at the Chinese Embassy in Montbreuse to commemorate the event. In attendance were the Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, His Excellency Eliud Williams, the President, along with members of Cabinet and representatives from the Chinese community. Since 1949, and more specifically 1978, China has undergone tremendous changes and has been enjoying fast economic development for over 30 years. Charge d'affaires of the Chinese Embassy in Dominica, Wei Weiwei, says as a result, all-around progress made in social progress and the living standards has significantly improved.
China now has the second largest GDP and foreign trade volume in the world. The foreign exchange reserves has exceeded $3 trillion. This year, China is focusing on implementing the 12th five-year plan, changing the pattern of economic growth, enhancing macroeconomic control, and stabilizing economic development.
China is still a developing country and is facing tremendous challenges in its economic social development. But Ms. Wei says they have the ability to overcome the difficulties and to maintain steady, rapid economic growth and achieve development at a higher level for a long time to come.
In the international arena, China has been committed to an independent foreign policy of peace and has been engaging with other countries on the basis of 5 principles of peaceful coexistence. China has diplomatic relations with 172 countries and has more interactions and exchanges with the rest of the world. We are becoming an important force safeguarding the world peace and promoting common development.
The Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit is grateful to China for their continued support to Dominica and assures them of Dominica's continued support and recognition of the One China policy.
We believe countries like China have demonstrated that with progressive policies of looking after its people and also investments in its people and its country, that it can reach over those challenges which confront our economies. And you have demonstrated, Madam, a very firm commitment to the stabilizing not only of your economy, but the economies of Europe, North America, and indeed we here in the Caribbean.
China has made a tremendous amount of resources available to the world through grants and other concessionary financing. The Prime Minister says there exists a very strong, sincere relationship between the peoples of China and Dominica, and he would like this to continue.
Because in international relationships, and of course relationships between and among people, there has to be sincerity. And there is a very solid sense of sincerity in this relationship which exists between Dominica and China. And we have no doubt that our relationship will go from strength to strength. So I know it is a joyous occasion for yourself and for your people, and Dominica joins in that celebration.
The Prime Minister toasted to the continued success of China and the good health of the leadership of the government. After the speeches, they indulged in some Chinese food.
The People's Pentecostal Family Church PPFC Praise Festival carded for the 20th of October was officially launched on Friday 28 September 2012. Head of the Children's Church as well as one of the organizers of this event, Sister Jumenia, says, last year, unfortunately for the first time in many years, the festival was not held. Therefore, this year, Sister Jumenia expects the festival to be very entertaining, and she urges the public to take part in this event.
And already I would like to invite everyone out there to come and be part of our Praise Festival. Here at the People's Pentecostal Family Church, we have been celebrating Praise Festival for a number of years now. About 20 years, I would say, we have been having Praise Festival. And why Praise Festival? For us, Praise Festival is a time to bring together believers from different...
During Praise Festival, believers are encouraged in word, song, and in dance. She says everyone is encouraged to increase their commitment to God. The PPFC is the one spearheading the whole program, however, they do have other participants from other churches.
So at our Praise Festival, we would have pastors from different churches do the prayer, do the scripture. We also have visiting worship teams, so they to get a chance to participate in Praise Festival activities. Why is it significant to the nation? The time of independence is one of great celebration. You know, there are many activities planned. We have the food, we have the culture, we have the music, but none takes on the great dimension of praise and worship as our Praise Festival here at the People's Pentecostal Family Church.
Organizer of the music and arts and craft of the church, Dr. Charlotte Coffey, stated that most of the time is going to be spent on worshiping God, since we are now learning the difference between praise and worship.
In heaven, when we go to heaven, people don't speak much about heaven anymore, but when we go to heaven, we're going to be worshiping God on a daily basis. Every second we'll be worshiping God. And so right now what we are doing at our church is learning the difference between praise and worship, where praise is where we're going to be showing off our God. And then we're going to be spending more time in worship, where we'll be becoming more intimate. We are learning to become intimate with our Maker, intimate with our Creator, telling Him about His worth, telling Him how great He is to us.
Bishop Michael Daniel says many wonderful topics will be discussed at the festival, and the last speaker will be speaking on creating a dwelling place for God.
And that will be done by Brother Lloyd Pascal, who is an elder and a deacon at the People's Church. And you will notice here that all of those sessions are really inviting the presence of God in what we're doing. And not just in the church, but I believe the church, the pastors, the leaders, and the believers ought to be the watchmen on the wall, looking out for danger. And the People's Church is presenting to...
Bishop Daniel is certain that the public will benefit from this festival.
Cultural enthusiasts will be engaged as the 34th anniversary of Dominica's independence has been officially launched in a ceremony on Saturday, September 29th at the Old Mill Cultural Center. Speaking at the ceremony, Chief Cultural Officer Mr. Raymond Lawrence says that the independence celebration is a good time to assess the development of Dominica, to see how far we have come as a people while celebrating our achievements.
The development of our country must be a joint effort between government, private sector, schools, church and community. and every child must be groomed through our education system to take on that responsibility effectively. This year, we are celebrating independence with the theme, Partnering for Further Progress and Development. I think the theme is calling us to strengthen relationships and help build greater cooperation and collaboration. We need to work more closely together and promote a spirit of unity and togetherness, and also to continue to treat each other with respect and dignity.
Minister of Youth, Culture and Sports, Honorable Justina Charles, says over the next few weeks, the island will be engaged in a range of cultural activities which will give prominence to our nationhood, pride to our country, culture and heritage. She says all of these have brought relevance to our unique and enjoyable independence celebrations, and is of the view that this year will surpass that of previous years.
Let us continue to work in this spirit of partnership to promote and develop our culture. Let us continue to think outside of the box and find creative ways to invest in training in the arts, to invest in the development of our cultural products, to invest in the preservation of our cultural heritage. Last weekend, we thank God for His blessings on our nation and for protection during this hurricane season. Today, as we unfold the program of activities for this year's celebration, we continue to ask for His blessings for a successful independence season.
Mrs. Charles said it is very important that all Dominicans come out in large numbers to support the various independence activities which have already begun. She is indeed pleased to see Dominicans continue to be creative in the effort to make our independence dynamic, vibrant, and reflect our evolving culture and society. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit pointed out that this independence celebration is a time to remember where we came from, where we are, and what we must continue to do to keep advancing in Dominica's development. Mr. Skerrit said we also need to look from a historical point of view and ask ourselves, why did we gain independence from Britain, and are we keeping true to the spirit and intent of our independence pursuit? While we have done a fantastic job in the preservation of our cultural heritage, he would like to see a lot more done in respect to a wider participation of Dominicans in preserving our cultural heritage.
I would like to make, as Minister of Finance, $50,000 to the Ministry of Culture to go towards preparing our schools for next year's celebrations. I do not want it to be a competition among our schools, because our school system and our society have become too competitive. I want it to be an exposition of our cultural heritage. So there should be no competition or offering of first prize or second prize or third prize. There's an opportunity for our children at various ages of the school system to demonstrate to us their love and pride in our country and our country's cultural heritage.
The Prime Minister says that in light of the Cultural Division's cry of lack of funds to host this year's independence celebration, additional funds will be made available to the division to implement a full program of activities.
I challenge us as a people to show greater tolerance to each other. I challenge us as a people to show greater love and affection to each other. We still have too many of our families, our grandparents, who are left alone to fend for themselves, when in some cases they have relatives and friends living right next to them. That their children here in Dominica, that their children overseas who have forgotten their parents and grandparents. That has been part of our culture, our heritage. Looking after our grandparents, because they looked after us when we were small. And now they can't fend for themselves. We have a responsibility as a people to care for people.
The Prime Minister also added that we as Dominicans need to show more hospitality to our fellow citizens and visitors to Dominica. He said this is important because when we travel the world and people speak about Dominica, they set aside Dominica in a positive way from all other countries. Mr. Skerrit said that we must continue to have the whole world saying that Dominicans are very friendly and hospitable people. The Prime Minister says he will try to attend as many of the cultural activities for this year's celebration of independence and urges all Dominicans to do the same to show their true patriotic support to their country and its unique cultural heritage.
Peace A Violence Intervention closing ceremony was held on Friday 20th September, where the young men received the recognition of the completion of the program. Family life and parenthood educator Mrs. Annie Luke says men need to realize the importance of their role because many times fathers are absent in the lives of young boys. She also urged the young boys to pass on the information which they have learned to their homes, schools and communities.
But this is the beginning of a new aspect of your life, because you're living this program a little richer. You're living this program a little more aware of some of the things around you, some of the ways that you respond to the opposite sex, some of the ways that you respond to your parents, your mothers, your fathers. And I urge you that you don't forget the things that you learned here. I urge you to be an example. Be a peace practitioner as you were taught.
She advises the young men to place their certificates somewhere visible, therefore they will be reminded of the goals that they need to set to better their lives and create a new future.
Put it up somewhere where you can see every day that you're going to remind yourself, this is my goal, and today nothing is going to prevent me from getting to that goal. Whatever difficulty, whatever hurdle, whatever comes in my way, I'm going to push it aside, I'm going to step over it, I'm going to ignore it. And let your lives be an example in your schools, in your communities, in your homes. I urge you to be an instrument of change.
Mr. Thomas Holmes advised the young men that they should stand up amongst their friends regardless of the outcome. The boys should be champions when they return to their schools.
We want you to have this education because an uneducated person may be involved in violent situations, and because they lack the way to maintain good communication, and so they usually do things that they're not supposed to do. And then we're asking you with the education, and then we know that every single one of you are educated and you'll upgrade your education level, that you can use it and then be responsible young men, accountable for your actions. So when you do that, then you can be role models to others who look up to you for guidance.
Mr. Willie Fevre says there was a need for some sort of intervention to educate these young men on the seriousness of the violence and the consequences. Mr. Fevre commended the United Nations Women Organization based in New York for funding this program.
And you will tell them how this program has impacted your life. And maybe ask your peers, maybe ask your parents, your sisters, your brothers, your neighbors, whether they have seen any change in you. And this is what we expect. We expect that what you have gone through here will have made some personal change within you. And from what I gather, there was a lot of expression of emotions and so forth, and this is where it must begin.
He expects the young boys to be an example of peace and non-violence when they return back to their schools.
In an effort to promote the 3 R's campaign, Reduce, Reuse and Recycle, the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation has launched a week of activities which was launched on Monday, October 1st. Speaking at the launching, Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Mrs. Helen Royer, says this activity is timely and essential as it seeks to raise the public's awareness on the importance of collectively solid waste issues in Dominica.
This week's activities are expected to change the mindset of waste generators, especially during this independence season when a large volume of waste is being produced. The theme, Reduce, Reuse, Recycle, the sustainable way for solid waste management in Dominica, focuses on the 3 great ways you can eliminate waste and protect your environment. It is important to note that how we handle our waste will determine its impact on our environment. Your environment is everything around you, including the air, water, plants. This means, therefore, that it is everybody's business.
Mrs. Royer added that the support and collaboration of the public plays a vital role in ensuring the success of any program of private sector participation. The Acting Permanent Secretary pointed out that the involvement of the public should be seen as central to any approach for introducing solid waste management while initiating concerted efforts to sustain development. General Manager of the Solid Waste, Mr. Bristol Lawrence, says if we can reduce our waste, it means we are reducing the waste from entering the waste streams. If we can recycle, then we are creating new products, jobs, and protecting our environment, and also reducing the amount of waste that goes to the landfill.
At the corporation, we believe in partnership and private sector involvement in order to drive growth and to create sustainability. To the partners who have already answered the call to do more, like Benjo Simas, Josephine Gabriel, Jeff, Paho, JICA, the Rotary Club, and all the other partners of the Adopter Block program who provided bins for the city of Roseau. We want to thank you and let you know that your contribution and support is making a difference.
He said like every other institution, the corporation is feeling the strain of the global financial downturn. However, despite the pessimism of the situation, they are optimistic there are better days ahead with the change in mindset and conditions of how waste can be treated and disposed.
It is of paramount importance that we realize that business cannot be carried out as usual. We have to work closer with all private and public partners in order to provide sustainability to our endeavors. Once again, thanks to all managers and staff for their effort and support. Your hard work is making a difference.
JICA representative for Dominica, Mr. Tatsuya Morita, says that promoting a safe, healthy, and sustainable environment is one of the major targets for the government of Japan, more so because it addresses human security, the driving force of JICA activities. He said this factor is more significant now with the current challenges posed by climate change and its impact on the environment.
The care and the protection of the environment has become a primary priority for not only for Japan, but for the rest of the world. One of Japan's major successes over the last decade has been in the area of solid waste management, which has seen involvement from people from all walks of life, created jobs, and established a major industry focused solely on the 3 R's. Reduce, reuse, recycle. And so Japan continuously seeks to provide support for other countries aiming to secure their own environments using the best available resources. We've been able to extend opportunities and support to Dominica through major projects and training to government employees with exemplary potential for pushing the country towards a more pro-environment nation.
Some of the week's activities include an exhibition at the landfill throughout the week, a workshop on Tuesday, October 2nd at the Public Service Training Center at 9 a.m., radio programs, and a health fair, among others.
So we thank you very much again for your support.
For the 4th year, the Titiwi Festival was in Layu on Sunday, September 30th. Titiwi in all forms including akras, pizzas, pie, boiled titiwi, smoked titiwi, sankosh titiwi, even titiwi balls was offered to excite taste buds. Patrons flocked to the beach in Layu to see what interesting styles were offered in one of their most loved dishes. Secretary of Layu Improvement Committee, Ms. Alicia Pierce, says they are looking to make titiwi the next national dish of Dominica.
Well, honestly, we really wanted to ask and promote titiwi because we were thinking of mountain chicken being our main dish, and then because of its scarcity, we hardly have mountain chicken. So we're trying our best to promote titiwi, so at least titiwi can become our national dish.
The festival was not held last year due to the collapse of the Matthew Dam, and this year the turnout did not seem as massive as in previous years. Artists were also given the chance to showcase their work at the festival. Tyron Anthony, better known as Blessing, displayed his wood carvings. He has been doing this for over 20 years and says this is a way for him to keep out of trouble.
I have some napkin holders, but like they're multi-purpose stuff. You put your envelopes, your postcards, your CDs, DVDs, you know, napkins in there. You have the heliconia flower. As you could see, you have the red one and you have the red, gold, and green, the Jacko, and you have the Cicero parrot, which is the national bird.
Ms. Kalina Charles was one of the vendors on that day and said the festival was a good thing for the Layu area to get people to come together.
It's a good thing when normally a lot of people come to the activities, a lot of people like it when they look up to that day. You know?
Because of the size of Layu, persons have compared Titiwi Festival to that of the World Creole Music Festival due to the amount of people that flocked to the village. It was also a family day where one could enjoy kayaking, boat riding, rounders and cricket.
The Windsor Park Sports Stadium came alive on Friday, September 20th, as it was the venue for the Win with CONCACAF Secondary Schools Program Girls Football Festival. Women's coordinator of the Dominica Football Association, Mr. Clifford Seller, highlighted that this event is a true display of the hard work the DFA is doing to raise the level of football in Dominica, namely female football.
FIFA is very much concerned with the development of women's football worldwide, and even more so Dominica. After the completion of the WICW program, FIFA immediately forwarded an email to DFA, acceding to an earlier request made by DFA for the continuation of the program for the period 2012 to 2013. At the 62nd FIFA Congress in Budapest, Hungary, FIFA approved Women's Development Program for the next 3 years, that's the period 2012 to 2015. An email dated and received on May 11, 2012 in part read, "We would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the association on the results of the recently concluded women's football coaching course in Dominica. We have received positive feedback from the instructor, Mrs. Andrea Rodaba, on the overall organization as well as the potential to develop women's football in your country."
FIFA will be lending the services of one of their women's football and competition experts to assess the status of the secondary schools competition for the period of 2012 to 2013. This expert will also establish action for the long-term sustainability of the sport. President of the Dominica Football Association, Mr. Glenn Etienne, says he is very happy with the tremendous strides the DFA has made in women's football over the past 12 months, more so over the past 10 months. He said that with the Win with CONCACAF Secondary Schools program, they have seen a revival and keen interest in women's football made throughout most of the secondary schools, and thanks to all those who have worked hard in making the program the success it is today.
FIFA has made a tremendous contribution to the program, as well as the local coaches who have gone to the schools to assist. Special mention must be made to the sports teachers and principals of the respective schools for embracing the idea and giving it their fullest support. Mention must also be made of the sports division for the role that it has played. Today, our primary business here is to present the school with their football kits. I stand corrected, but to the best of my memory, it is the first time that so many footballers have benefited from such gift at one time, single time. So recipient, you can consider yourself very lucky to be part of this initiative.
Just a few months ago, they witnessed a competition of the secondary schools women's championship, which from all reports the level of the football played was of a satisfactory standard. He said this is very encouraging for the hard workers at the DFA.
Young ladies, you have come a long way. You have made very good, steady progress. Now it's time to take your game to the next level. This can only be done by persevering and determination. You must remain focused and give it your all. You certainly will see the result of your hard work sooner rather than later. These kits that you will receive are designed to assist and motivate you to improve your game and to continue to play football. Football, as we all know, can be a very expensive sport, and the cost of equipment has the potential to drive people away from the game. You have no excuse now to play football. You are well equipped, so go out there and do your thing.
Mr. Etienne urged the young ladies to take care of their football kits, which were funded by FIFA, of which includes necessary football equipment such as boots, hoses, shin guards, among others, so they can maximize the use from them since football equipment is expensive. The DFA president advised the young female footballers that they have invested in them because they know they can deliver. He said the future of football lies with women, so they are taking every opportunity possible to provide opportunities for women. Each school was presented with the football kit from FIFA. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.